Hi, this is Shannon. I am excited to share with you today some picture books that my family has found and really loves and that relate to the Cycle 2 memory work that's coming up next year. If you are new to my channel, I am a homeschooling mom of 3 little ones, 6, 4, and 2 now, and we do classical homeschooling and love it. We also just love to read as much as we can, and I love finding books that relate to the memory work we're learning. And I also have a whole book list for Cycle 2 picture book list that I will link below that you can check out. I'm just sharing some of our favorites and some I wanted to highlight, but the whole entire book list for each week of Cycle 2 is linked below in the description, so make sure you check that out. Also, if you didn't see my previous video and see my Europe map behind me, I just finished making this giant felt Europe map because in Cycle 2, next year we also focus on Europe and geography. So I will link that video below if you're curious how I made it. I also made a Europe countries notebook that you can use with your kids. I talked about this last time, but just in case you missed it, it has 51 countries of Europe, so all the countries including the ones that are shared between Europe and Asia. And it has the United Kingdom and specifically England in there too. Each page has the country, where it's located in Europe, an animal, popular dish, fun fact, the capital, the flag. At the end of the book are all the flags for your kids to reference. So I made one of these for Africa too and did this with my kids this past year for Cycle 1. And they loved it. They would beg to do it in the morning. And so I was excited to make one for this coming year too for Europe. It's just a great way to dive deeper into Europe as your kids learn about a lot of the countries in Cycle 2. So just want to mention that in case you missed it. The first book I wanted to bring up goes along with that, and it's called Draw Europe. So we had Draw Africa last year, and my 6-year-old ate that up. So even when your kids are little, they can do it. But this book is great because it just basically has them draw the different countries and learn how to do that and identify the different places. So these books are great. There's one for the United States, one for the world, I think. I don't remember how many there are, but I would definitely check this out. So this is great to go along with the geography for Cycle 2. Draw Europe. This is another sweet book that goes along with the geography in Cycle 2. So it's placed in Thailand, which is week 20 geography. And it's just a really great story. I love finding true stories that are picture books like this that little kids would enjoy as well as older kids. And they are placed in the country that we are learning about. So again, this is in Thailand. It's about how these kids built a floating soccer field. Definitely a good one to check out for this cycle. All right, so now I just want to touch on a few science books that I really strongly recommend. This one is called Solids, Liquids, Gases, and Plasma by David Adler. So it just goes along great with the science memory work for week 14. So this is a good one. Also, this one, Hibernation Station, is a good one that talks about hibernation, really cute for younger kids. These Cat in the Hat books, they're from the Cat in the Hat's Learning Library, are awesome. So I own these because I feel like they're really worth it. This one is called All About Animal Camouflage, so it goes along with week 6 science about how animals adapt to environmental change. This one is about space. Whenever I find these books that relate to what we're learning, I grab them because they're just really fun and super filled with information. Great for a wide range of ages. My kids love them, they're little. Older kids would love them too. I also wanted to bring up the author Gail Gibbons. So I found several really great books from her. This one's The Reasons for Seasons. So it talks about how the sun, the position of the sun affects the seasons. And this one is called Migration. So obviously talking about animals migrating. And this one talks about the planets. So all of her books that I've found are really great, really fun, really informative. So I would highly recommend looking up this author and seeing what she has. Also science related, so Magic School Bus. Whenever I find Magic School Bus books that relate to what we're learning, I grab them too. This one's The Magic School Bus and the Electric Field Trip. So it relates to the science memory work at the end of cycle 2. If you haven't read these, they're just super engaging. My girls love learning the characters and they're really informative. For English, these books are fun. There's several of these I have on my picture book list that I have linked below, but these relate to the English word learning. So this one's called To Root, To Toot, Parachute, What is a Verb? But there's some other ones too. There's one about conjunctions, one about pronouns, so check these out. These are really fun. This one's great for math as we get into the metric system in week 15. All right, so now I want to show you some books that relate to the history. This one, Knit Your Bit by Deborah Hopkinson, is a World War I story. Again, I love finding stories like this that relate to the history that are just fun, engaging, a lot of times based on true stories, and great for younger kids. So highly recommend this. This one is phenomenal, Mercedes and the Chocolate Pilot. So this relates to week 18 history, and it's about the post-World War II Berlin airlift where a pilot dropped candy and gum to children. So true story, really great way to dive into history with your kids. This is The Mighty Steam Engine. We own this book, really great book about the steam engine. It relates to week 13 history with the Industrial Revolution. This is awesome. This relates to history and math, but there's several of these. I would definitely check out, see which ones you can find. This is called Circumference and the First Round Table, a math adventure. So again, it relates to math, lots of math terms, and history. These are really fun too. There's several of these on my book list. This one's You Wouldn't Want to Be a Crusader. There's one that's You Wouldn't Want to Be Joan of Arc. There's one called You Wouldn't Want to Be on Apollo 13. So just really fun, engaging books that help the kids understand the history better. This is an Usborne book that we own, See Inside Castles. It's a flip book all about castles since we are diving into medieval history at the beginning of cycle 2. So I would recommend this. My kids love this. Just a fun way to learn more about castles. All right, and then fine arts. This is one of my favorites, Monet's Cat. You should definitely check it out. Relates to Monet, which is week 16 fine arts. Just super fun story. My kids ask me to read this to them over and over again. So really fun. The Noisy Paint Box, a great introduction to abstract art. Ada's Violin, really good. So these ones having to do with orchestra, we read a lot last year too, and they're just so good. This one's How to Build an Orchestra. This one has like everything you would want to know. It's a little bit thicker, but really good for little kids too. A Child's Introduction to the Orchestra. My kids wanted to read this all the time. This one's called A is for Oboe. And I believe those are the ones I wanted to highlight. So I have a lot more for each week in my book list that I will link below, so check that out. What I like to do with my kids is we have breakfast in the morning, we have our devotional time, we do a little math sometimes or some handwriting, and then we talk about some of our memory work. One day we'll focus on geography, one day we'll focus on history, and one day we'll focus on science specifically. And then I like to have some books that after that time we can go to a different area of the house or go outside if it's nice and just read some of those books, and then they go off and play by themselves for a little bit. It's fun to hear them play the stories that we just read a lot of times. So it's just really fun to have simple, sweet, fun books that relate to the memory work. So I wanted to share those. Let me know if you have any questions or if you have any book recommendations that I didn't mention. I would love to learn more. I'm sure there's lots of books out there I don't know about, so please share if you found a treasure of a book that relates to cycle 2. I would love to hear. And if you are enjoying my videos, make sure you subscribe if you haven't already so you don't miss out. I'm planning to continue to post at least one video per week throughout the summer, and I will be posting cycle 2 tutor videos very soon too. I'm excited to tutor again next year. And check out my Instagram. I like to post what we do throughout the week, homeschool-wise, and recipes we're making, things like that. And check out my blog where I have lots of homeschool resources. So thanks so much again for watching, and have a great day.